I think it's safe to say 2020 was a year for the record books in so many ways. Obviously, global pandemic put the entire country in a lockdown for 2.5 or 3 months. If you and your family have been affected in any way, our hearts certainly go out to you. Here we are in the new year, and I've spent the better part of the last week really devouring the statistics from 2020. So I wanted to provide here a look at calendar year 2020 as it pertains to the Summit County and Breckenridge housing market. Breckenridge always makes up about 50% of all transactions in Summit County. So I'm going to go ahead and break them apart, tell a little bit about the broader Summit County market, and then specifically Breckenridge as well. First, important to go back and look at where we were in the beginning of 2020. We were off to a pretty good pace in January and February. As we moved into March and we went into a lockdown for 2.5 months, we were really not allowed to conduct new business for the better part of 10 or 12 weeks. So middle of March to about January 1, we were allowed to move through the closing of any already under contract properties, but not get buyers into new listings, not get photographers into new listings. So we had essentially a moratorium on new transactions, and we wondered how would that affect both the number of transactions for the year and the dollar volume of all sales. So when we look back at Summit County, you will be utterly shocked to see that Summit County transactions for total dollar volume were up 32% for the year. Breckenridge specifically was up 30% for the year by dollar volume. When we look at the number of transactions around Summit County that closed were up 20%, and in Breckenridge specifically, 25% more transactions in calendar year 2020 than we saw in the previous year. Pretty surprising given that we were closed down for the better part of 10 weeks. So to what do we attribute that increase in both dollar volume and number of transactions? Well, in all the buyers that we spoke to, here's what people were saying. We're at home. I've learned that I can work from anywhere. And if I can work from anywhere, why wouldn't I do it from my favorite ski resort? The kids are not going to school. They're doing online learning. So we're not taking them out of school to go and spend an entire month or so in Summit County. So really, it was that people have learned they can work from anywhere, and kids are doing online learning and can go to school from anywhere. So I would say those are the two biggest factors that influenced a very significant increase in both dollar volume and number of transactions. We've written a complete blog that goes into, it breaks it down by property type, so single family homes, condos, townhouses. We look at specifically Breckenridge. We look at the broader Summit County market. I'll include a link to that blog post. What do we expect for moving forward calendar year 2021? Frankly, based on every conversation we're having with buyers, we see a lot more of the same. I'm extremely bullish on Summit County because people continue to be really, really bullish on Colorado. People are moving into our state at record numbers. So buyer demand remains very, very strong, and our inventory of available properties from which they can choose is very limited. So really, how does that affect you if you're thinking of either buying or selling in Summit County? If you're a buyer, what we're recommending is it's as important or more important now than any time previously to go ahead and work with your lender to get a pre-qualification letter ready. Let's get really specific on the types, location, size, and budget of where you want to buy, because when that property comes to market, given the demand in the marketplace, it's quite likely that you might be in a competing offer situation. So we want to make it as beneficial to you that you're ready to go and your offer will be well received by a seller looking at 2 or 3 offers. And if you're a seller, what does this mean for you? Well, if you read the full blog post, you'll see what kind of appreciation we've seen over the last year and how that affects your specific property, whether you're a condo, a townhouse, or a single-family home. But all the same ingredients are still important for you. We want to make sure your home or condo is ready for buyers to see it. Meaning you don't get a second chance to make a great first impression. So we'll still want to do the paint, the carpet, any fix-it repairs, anything that's going to make your property shine in its best light before we bring in our professional photographers, our videographers, do a Matterport virtual tour, everything that we do to market your property. It's also going to be really important if you want to capture the broadest audience of potential buyers that we strategically price it appropriately for the market. We don't get to just price it at any number and somebody's going to buy your property. So if you have questions specific to your particular situation, please feel free to give me a call, 970-389-0372. You can find all of this information on our blog, brecklifegroup.com. Thanks so much.